Hey guys, it's Jen with Astrology. Today we are talking about the astrology of June. And this is so much Gemini learning, doing things differently, doing things with our minds, doing things with internet and with gadgets and all that Gemini kind of stuff. So we start off the month on the 2nd with Jupiter, who just ingressed into Gemini. So that is going to be a 1 year that Jupiter will be in Gemini. And of course, at the beginning, it's moving into that trine with Pluto. So it's kind of like that boom, that Jupiter explosion into Pluto's run into Aquarius. So kind of like gonna give us a sneak peek of what we're gonna expect for this next generation to come, pretty much, because on the 3rd also we have Mars coming into the trine. So it's going to come in as well as conjunct Jupiter on the 4th. So we're going to have that Mercury and Jupiter conjunction. That's that mind and, communication, that stimulation of your mind with Jupiter really stirring things up and trining that Pluto that is going to just expose, what are we going to learn? What are we going to try? What are our new innovations, ideas that are going to come to fruition over the next, generation? Pretty much, it's going to give us that understanding and that knowledge of the transformation that this world is really about to see, that we've been talking about for a while now. So on the same day, Venus will conjunct the Sun in Gemini. So the Venus conjunction with the Sun is a Venus star point, and this begins the new Venus star point cycle. So she is going from a morning star to an evening star. So it's a superior conjunction with Gemini, Venus and Gemini starting this new cycle. So we may again see these sneak peeks, and it could have to do with how people will interact, how they'll make connections, how they'll build relationships. Can be in a completely new way than we've ever been used to before. Maybe new online dating sites, social sites popping up, changing and dominating the way that we communicate, the way we process information, and the way we even meet people. Lots of air. So you want to take that time and just breathe, just focus, because Gemini, it's a lot of focus right here on the lungs. We want to take the time to really breathe. Also, we have the new moon in Gemini that is comes on the 6th, and that is, again, communication, information processing, learning, maybe more remote-based learning, or, work remote or things like that, or maybe changing because that didn't really work out that great. So maybe it's going to be bringing people back in. So it's just anything, or maybe there's more kind of work done on, or learning-based things done with gadgets and with internet and that type of thing. So Venus will be closely conjunct to the new moon at this time. So, there's these Venusian themes around, with the peak into the Pluto ingress, the Gemini new moon, that will be, just kind of peaking on December 15th. So it's the start of the cycle that's going to be happening, culminating next year in June. So it's not going to happen, you want to remember that aspects are like storms, and we hear them rumbling. We hear them, coming up in the distance, and they get louder and louder the closer that they get. And that is like an aspect getting closer to, to its exact. And then as it closes in and we get the full effect when it's directly on top of us. Then as it starts to move away, we either reap the benefits of whatever we learned, whatever we gained from this, or the residuals after it passes. So it really depends on, the positive and negative of it. So you want to be open-minded. You want to we're beginning anew here. So you want to be open-minded. You want to keep your eyes and your mind open so that you can take in these new ideas, not be so judgmental. Oh, this is all air. This is all mental stimulation. So one day, we're going to start that conversation, talk to each other. That's what we want to do. This is all that mental stimulation. You want to hear the other side, get a feel of how these transits will affect you. Maybe take a journal, jot down different things. Like if you have a big conversation with somebody that really seems to be important, you see something on TV, news coming in, messages coming in, you want to write these things down because they could end up being super important. On the 8th, Venus will be in a square to Pisces, bringing that slowdown, or it'll be in a square to not Pisces, but to Saturn in Pisces. So we know Saturn slows things down, puts up blocks, puts up obstacles. It's going to put that in relationships, partnerships. Maybe there's something questionable that really needs a deeper look, something that we're unsure about. This is Saturn in Pisces. Something that we've been kind of like questioning that we might want to learn a little bit more about before progressing forward. The sun then will move into that same square. So they're all still kind of going as a group. We have Venus, the sun, Mercury, all kind of moving as a group together. And that's going to move into that square with Saturn on the 9th, as Mercury on the 9th also will be sextile to the North Node. So, the North Node is about moving forward, going for your goals. So we need to do that research first, that mental, that stimulation, that Gemini, learning all you can, do the research, dig deep, know everything about everything, figure out that hidden obstacle, that Saturn in Pisces, what we're unsure about, and only then can we move forward with our goals, no matter what they could be. Could be a relationship goal, work goal, just partnerships, anything. It could be whatever, I want to have my house cleaner, anything, any kind of goal. On the 9th also, this is going to be about discipline, with the Saturn in here. So you want to be disciplined. You don't want to make rash decisions. You want to think about things. As Mars moves into Taurus, into that square with Pluto on the 9th, so Mars is also given a little kick to it, moving into the square with Pluto, not till the 11th. So it's going to take a little while. It's moving slow. Mars will be in detriment. So get ready, that slowdown, that needing to slow down, that determination keeps them at pace. The Pluto square brings those power struggles though. So that's, you got Mars in there, and that's power struggles. And that's like, your bold mind up against someone else's bold mind, kind of like, I want this, I want that. You don't care about the other. But it keeps you with that determination. And it keeps us from kind of pulling forward, even though we are still going to be very determined in these changes. You want to keep that determination. You want to keep, though, mature in it. On the 16th and 17th, we have Venus and Mercury squaring Neptune. So, and that is right before they move into Cancer. So, you want to take that time to breathe. This is the time where things are going to slow down mentally. Your mind is going to just kind of not be so Gemini. It's going to be a little more Neptune-y Gemini. So a little more fantasy, a little more dreamy. You want to relax and let that intuition take over. And you're going to really need to use that gut instinct as we move into Cancer, because we know that Cancer, maybe things aren't feeling quite right. We have that hard shell on us, but we have the soft inside. So we want to protect that. We want to protect our insides. So if something's not right, we want to meditate on it. Keep track of those vivid and recurring dreams, because Neptune really likes to speak to us through our dreams and through our subconscious. And it's going to help with a little more clarity. So, definitely dream journal everything. Anything that seems like it means something, journal it. Mercury and Venus will then be conjunct. So that is expressing those feelings that you've suppressed, getting things out. Cancer is very compassionate and empathetic. So hopefully the feelings will be understood and will be reciprocated. Your care for someone will be reciprocated and they'll care back. So it won't be one-sided. So if you do have feelings that you feel that aren't being recognized, this will hopefully change that a little bit. And you don't want to keep it bottled up. You have to explain, you have to tell your feelings, because the longer you keep things bottled up, the longer things are just going to just bubble up inside. And then, you know, when it moves in to, say, Leo, things get fiery. So we want to, you know, cultivate our feelings, and we want to express our feelings and use that Mercury to really just express them, so that you can be understood and others can be understood back. A rose quartz could help at really, especially coming along with this Venus star point. It's a great time to really take that rose quartz that is Venusian, and it's very heart chakra related, so it will really help you along this time if you're having any kind of like difficulties, you know, inside with any kind of relationship or anything that's, you know, not calming your mind and you need a little bit of inner peace, inner harmony. Use that rose quartz. I'll do a video on that, so definitely stay tuned. So on the 20th, the sun in Gemini will square Neptune, and that is before, it's kind of buggy out today, before its ingress into Cancer, kicking off the summer solstice. Yes, it's the longest day of the year, and nice middle of summer. Positive because it's the longest day of the year, but that also means they get shorter from here on in, and it's been really nice getting up at 4:30 in the morning. It's already a little bit bright out, so that'll be a shame, but looking forward to that. Looking forward to summer being nice and hot. It's been great weather around here. We really want to enjoy it, but with everything that's going on and the stars, you may feel confused, because don't forget that Neptune's still in there, you know, confused about what's real and what is just in your imagination. As the sun moves into Cancer, again, go with your gut, go with what really feels the most, what you really need the most out of, you know, and what feelings you really need to express, what you need to hear from others, and don't just blow things off. Really go with that gut. You know, it can help you really through a lot of things. So, you know, again, Cancer, it's that hard shell. We want to replace that hard shell. Be a little more easygoing, be a little more fun-loving, you know, that shell goes on after we leave Gemini, and now we're in that soft. So it's not so much the fun-loving, all crazy, but we still want to keep that a little bit, because we don't want to just be so hard. We don't want to be so emotional. We want to just, you know, be sensitive, be compassionate, be expressive, but still you want to be fun, and you don't want to be so serious all the time. Protect your insides by expressing your feelings so that people will understand. On the 21st, we have the full moon in Capricorn. So with that Sirius Saturn coming in, that Saturn ruled full moon, we take that new Gemini moon from the 6th and all that information gathered, and we put it to work. Okay, so how do we utilize this? How do we do it? This is what Saturn in Capricorn does. It puts us into that working mode. Like, how are we going to use this to benefit? Mercury and Venus, respectively, will square the North Node on the 22nd and the 23rd on the 26th. So when planets square the nodes, they're at the bindings, is what that's called. I can do a video on that too if you're interested. A lot about, if you're at the south binding, then it's about getting rid of things, expressing things, kind of pooping it out. And then if you're on the north binding, it's taking things in, taking in the information, taking in, just like it's an inhale, and then south binding is like that exhale. There will be, you know, the north, and it will be moving in a square towards that North Node. So that's collective growth. So this is on a collective scale. Everything that I'm saying really is. So it's what's happening to everybody. It just fine tunes as you look into your own chart and how these planets aspect your own chart. But collectively, there is going to be growth where energy comes in, and it's going to be pretty much, you know, the growth from external events that are coming in. And in this case, you know, Mercury messages, Venus, harmony, balance, how do we learn how to achieve this harmony and balance? What messages are going to come in on a collective scale, on a worldwide scale, that are going to lead to these innovations, ideas, revelations, that are really just going to grow us for the future. So we round up the month with a little more positive aspects, like on the 26th, we have Mercury trine Saturn. So we're reserved with our words, being a little bit kinder, a little bit nicer, reserved with our thinking, we're mature, and sometimes that immaturity of the Mercury in Cancer is empathetic. So we have a lot of that, just that empathy, thinking before we speak, taking that time to think about how our words may affect others. And we want to be mature and grown up about things. Because you don't want to say things that you can't take back. People think just words can't hurt you. They can hurt more than anything else, really. On the 29th, Venus will sextile Mars. So, and Mercury will sextile Mars, and Mercury in Cancer will sextile Uranus. So that's great for couples. That's a friend, caring yet loving, something spontaneous. So if you are in friendship, maybe something will change. Maybe, something will happen. So if you have a close friend that maybe you thought maybe it could be something more, couldn't be a better day. Fun pranks on people, just something fun-loving, easygoing, and just, spontaneous. So we'll elaborate through the month with different little videos. So be sure to follow, hit the subscribe, and get notified so you see when these new videos come out. We're gonna learn how to use these crystals to work with these transits that are coming up, especially the Venus star point with the because the next video for crystals is going to be the rose quartz. So with the Venus star point coming up, so definitely stay tuned for that. Spread the word, people, because this is Gemini. Tell your friends about the channel. For God's sake, that's what Gemini does. It tells their friends about everything and talks and socializes and say, hey, check out this girl on Astrology. She's kind of fun. Likes doing stuff in the woods. She's always got a pet somewhere running around. So I hope to see y'all soon. I'll talk to you. Bye.